Freedom is coming. Every captain. We're not slowing down. If your legs get tired, tell the devil he's a liar.
Yeah.
Let's go. We ride in Jesus' name. Break chains of sin and shame. Declare Jesus to the ends of the earth.
Well, good morning, Get Wrecked for Recovery crew. So it's day 70 of the Redeeming Eden Cycle Tour, RECT, Get Wrecked for Recovery, a bicycle trip up the Atlantic coast of America, plus the C&O Gap and Erie Canal towpath, to raise awareness that there are addiction recovery options available, that you don't have to die in your addiction. There's churches, celebrate recoveries, and rescue missions all over the nation, all over the world, that just want to help you, talk to you, and love you if you find yourself battling addiction. So I'm here at Lock 21. New London, New York is the name of the little town. And it turns out there's a food mart right up the street that I'm about to go to. I took a 0:30 today, so it's like 12 o'clock. Woke up at like 2:30, stayed up till about 4:30, thinking about different things, praying about different things, trying to get some ideas together for merch, like clothing, those kind of things. Also about, you know, a potential like cycling kit, like what I'm wearing for Ends of the Earth. Trying to just navigate through some things in my mind of how to continue to build resources being able to come in for Redeeming Eden. And went back to sleep, and when I got up, the boat traffic was coming through here so much that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to sit here. And I saw this boat that was coming through, which said "It is well" on the back. I thought that was really neat. So it was kind of a restful morning. It was some me time. You know, I don't get much of that. Like, I have to schedule it. That's how it works. Even on my zeros, most of the time, I'm doing things. And so this morning, I just checked out. That's pretty much it. Like, I have done a little bit of nothing. The cool thing is that this little section here is so shaded. And you can see the cottonwood seeds falling around me here. Like, I'm still in spring. The interesting thing about these 70 days is when I started in the Keys, it was spring, and I have been in a perpetual spring, riding with the sun, no pun intended, all the way up the coast. Like, it's been really interesting. I've had, you know, 3 or 4 really, really, really cold days, and I've had 3 or 4 really hot days. But all in all, it's been like 75 as a high, almost since the Keys. I mean, like, it's been a great ride. So if you're planning on doing the East Coast Greenway, go from south to north and start around March 15th. Seems to be the right thing to do. Anyway, so yeah, I am going to get on the road. I've got to go up here. I've drank myself completely out of water, Coca-Cola, everything else. This is a primitive spot. They don't have water or restrooms here. So I've got to go up and do that, and then I've got to go find some breakfast or lunch at this point. Probably in Rome. I think Rome's about 8 miles away from here. I don't plan on doing 40 miles today. Like, this is just I mean, I could really just ride up to the store and back to here and it wouldn't bother me a bit. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make forward progress. But this is not like a big, you know, now I got to make up time. Like, I just took this as some time down. I still want to cover miles, so it's not just 0. I want to still get home, you know, a day earlier than what I would if I didn't. But my timing still looks good. It looks like I've got 694 miles left to the easternmost point in Maine. And with mountains, I reckon I'll do somewhere between 800 and 1,000 miles over the next 30 days. So, you know, if it's a 100-day tour and I'm supposed to end by July 16th, all that works. Like, all of that works. I'm actually 100 miles ahead, even if I did the low end of 800 miles, which I never did last year. Even through the Appalachians, I was still covering, you know, 950, 1,000 miles. What's strange is I covered 1,200 miles through the Rockies. Like, I don't even know how that happened. The climbs were much softer than they are out here, though. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy this spring morning, get on the road, and you'll see more of that right about now. All right, so I was just riding down the road here, down the trail, and another cyclist was coming this way. I was watching Matthew Jacobs preach at Look for 18 Fellowship, my home church. David Bullock and Brother Randy are up in Nashville at the Southern Baptist Convention. And so, like, this cyclist is coming toward me, and he's slowing down, and so I was like, oh, I'll slow down and talk. So I took the old AirPods out and chatted with him. His name is Optimistic Chris, which I absolutely love. And he's got a YouTube channel called Soulmate Cyclists. He actually was able to get Soulmate Cyclists on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And so he tries to produce a video like once a week. He retired just a couple of years ago. And he had actually got his soulmate, his wife, into cycling. And then she got bit by a deer tick and got Lyme disease. And so she's not able to do it anymore. So let's pray for his wife for healing, because, man, I couldn't even imagine. I could not even imagine, like, getting to that point in life and, like, having your soulmate want to do this with you and then have such a turn of events. But so he is riding from Portland, Maine to Cannon Beach, Oregon. So I got to tell him, like, you know, he wants to do the Going to the Sun Road up in Montana, Glacier National. And I said, well, when you leave there, you got to go on the Transamerica Trail from Lolo all the way to the coast in Florence and then north. Because Lochsaw River, like, still, that's one of the most beautiful places I've been in the entire United States of America. Olympic Peninsula, Lochsaw River, and then, like, everything else kind of goes down from there. But yeah, like, definitely wanted him to check that out. So he subscribed to my channel, I subscribed to his channel, and why don't you go do the same? Go subscribe to Soulmate Cyclists. Let's get him some viewers. And yeah, very cool stuff. He's originally from England, and he took a half a zero today to just watch the soccer game. So very cool. Anyway, I've got to call my wife back and get on the road and keep watching my message this morning. So love you guys. See you later. All right, so that was Fort Stanwix. It's right here, I mean, just a block or two away from the actual Erie Canal path or the Empire State Trail. A lot of history here. Like, really neat stuff. This is the only fort that wasn't surrendered to the British, because the captain of the fort was like, burn it to the ground. So rather than give up, he burned it down to the ground. And when the British got here, they said that, you know, it's up on an escarpment and it's, you know, highly, you know, barricaded. And they said, we wouldn't have even tried to attack it. Like, it's that, you know, well defended. So maybe that wasn't the best idea, but a lot of cool history. I loved reading all the plaques and stuff, especially the bartering. That, you know, a child's shirt between the age of 2 and 5 years old, it was commonplace and law that that would be traded for 2 raccoons or a marten. It's just amazing how times have changed. So anyway, National Park Ranger told me a safer, quicker way to get back to the trail, so I'm going to take it. You'll see that right about now. Alright, so I just rolled in here to the Dollar General in Oriskany, New York. It's actually Oriska, New York. I was speaking with Corey and Nate and Lauren at the lock yesterday, at Lock 21. And they are from this area, and so originally Oriska was, you know, just O-R-I-S-K-A. And before they were putting a comma between the state abbreviation, people were writing Oriska NY for New York. And like, that was the reason that the Postal Service came up with putting a comma after the town name, because they were looking for Oriskany. What state is Oriskany in? So yeah, this is Oriskany. Another cool fact, the USS Oriskany is off of the Pensacola coast, and it's a ship that you can dive. So I had heard of this town from that ship for a long time. So I'm actually in Oriska, New York, but I guess they've adopted the Oriskany name now. So anyway, the trail dumps you right here at the Dollar General. There is nothing open in town. It's a Sunday. I don't know if that's like always the case, but on Google at this time of day, it's not happening. So if you're in this area, make sure to stop at the Dollar General and get your dinner, which is what I did. I've got like 4 miles left to go, and I'm going to go to the Lock 20 lock in Utica. So let's do that now. Love you guys. See you later. All right, well, that's it for the day. So to answer the question, what is half of 0? 20 miles. That's how far I went today. I'm at lock number 20 of all numbers. 20 miles for 20 today. And I now know completely why I only went 20 miles today. So when I was cycling in, there was a runner going the opposite direction. And when he ran back by, he stopped. and his name was Jim, and he was, asking me about the bike. He was like, I'm thinking about doing a big, ride or a hike. I'm not sure. I need to do some soul searching. And so we sat down and had like an hour-long conversation about the gospel, about faith, about all kinds of things. I usually don't share, like the ministry things that I do, because they're personal. They're not for, the YouTube channel. That's a person-to-person interaction that I have. Most of the time what I'll lead with is, I'm writing for addiction recovery awareness. I was IV cocaine and opiates. Went to a Christian rehab facility, and the gospel, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus opened my eyes and changed my life. He's alive, and he came to live in me, and he can live in you too. And then I just kind of let it go from there. And it's not the same every time. Every situation is a little bit different. But that's kind of like my go-to, just the same way I start in the videos with kind of the same conversation. That's the thousands of conversations I have a day. That's usually like the lead, when I'm asked about the bike or my beard. I really don't like invade people's personal space. Talk to cashiers, those kind of things, waitresses, servers, all those situations where I'm sat down, but like, I won't just walk over and be like, hey, yada, yada, yada. I kind of let the Lord bring the people to me. And yeah, Jim is just in a definite place where things are shifting, and they're shifting for good for his walk with Christ. And it was so good to be able to just sit and talk with him for an hour. I mean, it was an hour. So yeah, that's cool. Now I know why I only did a half a day today. Like, I'm sure if I would have done a whole day, it would have been that situation somewhere else. I don't know. Like, I don't know how God is doing all this. It's not for me to know. His thoughts are higher than my thoughts, and his ways are higher than my ways. So, and I'm totally cool with that. But yeah, I've got everything set up here. It is going to storm tonight. I don't know if you can see the horizon back there. No, the light's not going to dim. But there are some clouds moving in. It's going to storm all night tonight and all day tomorrow. And I'm going to ride through the rain tomorrow. Like, I'm actually kind of excited about it. I've got my rain suit ready and everything. Pack everything. I'm going to pack everything up wet, get on the bike wet, and ride wet tomorrow. But in order to cut and edit this video so that you guys can see it tonight, I've got to end it here. So if you know anybody who's passed away from addiction in any form or fashion, please drop their name in the comments or find me through the Popple link in the description. And I would love to ride for your person and celebrate their life with you for a day. If you know anybody who's actively addicted, share this with them. I don't want to see anybody else die from addiction. I know you don't either. Let's use Redeeming Eden as a tool that we might save a life. This is the REACT Tour, R-E-A-C-C-T, Redeeming Eden Atlantic Coast Cycle Tour. And I need you to react. I need you to like the videos, comment on the videos on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the videos on your social media profile. All those things will go a long way in helping to build Redeeming Eden, the Garden Rehab. Last but not least, don't forget that Redeeming Eden is a nonprofit ministry through International Gospel Outreach. I will leave a link to them in the description. You can go there, you can find out more about Redeeming Eden and about the Cody Jordan Forever Funeral Fund. Or you can go back and watch the day one video from this series, the REACT Tour. So yeah, from here at Lock 20 in Utica, New York, 20 miles down the road from Lock 21. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. I'll see you later. Have a good night.